Well, hello you guys. Hope you're all doing well. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about growing loofahs today. We're going to talk about the care and, starting off how to germinate them from seed, because there's a little bit of a trick that I want to share with you guys that would help speed up the process of germination. And then we're going to plant this seedling together. Now, loofahs love the sun. They definitely want to be in full sun, or as much sun as you can give it. You can even start off by, growing, planting it in part shade, and eventually the vine would grow over to reach full sun. That's okay too. But it's definitely a water-loving, heat-loving vegetable. So when you grow them to actually help with germination, the seed actually will not really germinate until it gets close to about 90 degrees, when the soil is actually pretty warm, kind of like when you want to start growing chili pepper seeds. And by doing that, you really help to increase germination. Another thing you can add on top of that to increase the germination rate is I like to first soak the loofah seeds overnight in water. What I've noticed is that when I started testing out growing loofahs from the seeds from 2 years ago versus the fresh seeds, is that some of the fresh seeds take a lot longer to germinate than the older seeds. And my guess is that when you think about a seed, there's like a shell outside that protects the inside, everything that the nutrients and everything that the plant or the seed needs to grow and become a plant. So when the seeds are, sometimes certain types of plants, when the seeds get a little older, it actually seems to germinate faster. And my theory is that, when it gets a little older, the inside part kind of shrinks a little bit, which leaves a little bit of a space in between the shell and the inside. That way it can allow water or moisture to get in faster because of that little hollow or space in between. And when the seed is older, it's kind of like really thirsty. This is totally my theory, okay? Comment down below if you guys agree or have some input for me. But my theory is that when it's so thirsty, once you give it water, it's just really excited and really wants to take that drink, and then it'll just burst out of the shell and see the world. But with fresh seeds, what I notice is that some of them do germinate close to the same rate as the older seeds, but some did not. And the reason is, it depends on how much sun or how dry these seeds are, because loofah gourds are left out in the sun until they completely dry. At least that's how I like to harvest them, because the loofah, this variety that I'm growing, is really big. So if you harvest them too early, it might mold. So I like to get them completely dry on the vine, which means the seeds will get a little more dry. And so to speed up that germination rate, what you want to do is to soak the seeds overnight first, and then you want to clip off the little part of the shell just to expose the inside a little bit, to encourage water to get in and to get it to grow faster that way. So you can either use a little nail clipper or like a cuticle cutter to just clip off that little spot there on the seed, or you can just take a seed and just put it on, run it on concrete and just kind of file it a little bit to get the inside, just a little bit of that inside to expose. Now be really careful with this. You want to clip off just a little, just a little pinch of that part, because you don't actually want to cut or injure the inside. Just, remove part of that shell. That's it really. Other than that, you want to get it in warm environment, so you can do that by putting it in a little baggie or dome, and then putting it under a heat pad, or putting it out in the sun when on a windowsill, wherever you can get some sun on it, because it really helps to speed up the germination when it gets up to close to about 88 or even 92 degrees inside. So the soil just gets really moist, really warm in there. Kind of like when you're growing peppers, the pepper seeds don't really want to germinate until there's enough warmth in the soil. So that's kind of the same way with loofahs. So other than that, I find that it really does help to speed up the process of the seeds germinating. From that point on, you really just need to get them in a lot of light, just really bright light as soon as, you know, you see the first 2 leaves come out. So I'm going to show you guys. Here's the difference between the two. Okay, this is the one that I grew, like the seed kind of came up, and then as soon as it, you know, gave the two baby leaves, I put this in under the grow light. Sometimes if there's enough sun out here, I would actually give them direct sunlight as well for a couple hours and slowly just kind of harden them off. And yeah, the growth is it's a lot more like short, it's more tight, versus this one is a little more linky because I didn't catch them when they started germinating and growing, when it was not, you know, in a spot that didn't get enough light. So they're kind of stretching, reaching for light, so they're a little more linky and tall. However, loofahs are very hardy vegetables. It's not a problem at all. I just need to get these, I want to get these in the ground because look, the roots poking through already. So I really want to get this down on the ground. It can still get a little bigger in the pot, especially in places where you guys live in colder climates. You want to continue raising your little plants indoor with the grow light or where it gets a lot of bright sunlight. Another place that you can kind of keep the seeds a little warm is probably above your refrigerator. I feel like the top of your refrigerator is a little bit warmed up there if you don't want to use heat pads, or if you're running the drying machine, you can also leave the seed, you know, the seed tray on top there, and that would kind of help to warm up the soil as well. In case you guys are curious, when is a good time to transplant your seedlings in general, even to, you know, plant them in the ground and or stepping up to a larger pot, especially if still cold outside, it's not ready to get your stuff, you know, outdoors. You want to step up with the potting. So you just look at the bottom part. If there's roots sticking out, it's a good time to start transplanting them. Or you can let them grow out even a little longer. But if you start seeing a whole lot of roots on the bottom, it is definitely time to get them to a bigger home. So I think we're getting about 48 degrees Fahrenheit low at night right now, which is still a little bit on the cool side for the loofahs, but I don't think it's really a big deal because we're not anywhere near frost at all. And you know, I can plant them out, then just place like a dome or some sort of protection over it if I really want to baby them. But it's not a big deal. I don't think the cold right now is going to hurt the plants. They might not grow as fast, but it's really not a big deal. So I got some this mixture, which is some worm casting that I have in my little worm bin here, some compost that I feed them, and then I mixed some Dr. Herb's fertilizer in here and just kind of gave them a mix. That's how I usually start my seedlings. When I transplant anything, I usually would put some mycorrhizae on there, but I'm out of them right now. So I just gave it a little extra worm casting instead, since worm casting do have, you know, the beneficial bacteria and the fungi in here anyway. So I usually just like to load this up and spread it when I transplant. Let's get started planting. Squeeze it out a little bit. There we go. Try to do everything in one hand. Okay, people usually like to just grow two together. I just like to split it. I don't have that much room.
So if you guys want to find out how to split, you know, separate your seedlings, check out my other video. I'll link it for you guys. There we go.
Wow, would you look at that? Hope you guys can see that. It's definitely wants to get into a bigger pot, so this is actually a really good time to transplant. All done. I'm so glad you guys got to plant out the loofahs with me today. I cannot wait to see these loofahs grow and give you guys an update on it. Especially for those of you who have purchased the seeds on my website, I want to give you a huge thank you, and I'm really excited that you guys get to grow the loofahs with me. If you guys still want some more seeds, I do have some available. I'll leave the link of my website down below for you guys. If you're new to this channel, I want to give you a huge welcome. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I would love to have you back again to do some more gardening with me. You can also follow me on Facebook or Instagram, where I do some instant updates of my life that you don't get to see on this channel since it happens in real time. So that's it, you guys. Happy gardening. See you right back here in the next video very soon. Bye, guys.